Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Tuesday Tips. Glad to be back with you. I know for the podcast community, it has been a while since the podcast has went out. So I'm glad to welcome all of you back as well into the IG community. Glad to be back with you guys as well. We've been going through a little bit of a transition here lately with the passing of my dad. And today, my mother is having surgery. So I'm asking all of you to keep her in your prayers as well. I know everything will be all right. God's got her. If ever there was a living saint on earth, it is definitely my mother. And I know that she is still too grieving. 63 years of being married, you don't just get over losing your husband of 63 years. And you're talking about a marriage that had lasted the test of time. You barely find people of that caliber in a marriage today. But I want to speak on, I've been getting some emails, some messages asking me to speak on the certain types of depression I have put out on Instagram. Some, I guess you can call them flashcard-like type things on Instagram, telling you about the different types of depression. Of course, with different types of depression, depression stems from some type of traumatic experience. And on a maybe next podcast next week, I will go over the types of traumas, traumatic behaviors that people have experienced. But today I'm going to talk in brief about the different types of depressions that we in the mental health community, spiritual community, what we have found to be sound depressive disorders. And I'm going to read them off here, so bear with me. One of the major depressive disorders is seasonal affective depression. It is a period of a major depression that one may experience during a specific season. And 9 times out of 10, that season is winter. If you've lost a loved one or you've gotten out of a relationship of many years, and you don't have that person there with you anymore, it brings about a very major depressive mood. It can lead to social withdrawal, increased need for sleep, weight gain, because sometimes people want to eat to try to numb those emotional feelings. Feelings of sadness on a daily basis, hopelessness, unworthiness. All of these are part of the seasonal depressive mood disorder. With that being said, how does one overcome that? Well, I really highly recommend going through some pictures of those who have passed on, videos, if you have them, just to keep their memory alive, to keep their voice heard. If you're out of a relationship, hook up with some friends. Go out. Maybe hook up with your best friend, or if they have the time, or maybe you can explain yourself to them and say, hey, look, I'm going through a really tough time. Do you think you have some time within the next day or so that maybe we can just go out, maybe do some shopping or grab a bite to eat? I just need a different scenery. And oftentimes that will help a person overcome a seasonal depressive modes, affective depressive mode. The next one would probably be major depression. The feeling depression the majority of the time for lasting more than 2 or 3 weeks. And then you just feel depressed most of the time. And then along with major depression, that is different from some of the other depressive moods, is difficulty sleeping. How about that? It flips on us, right? Difficulty sleeping, or it could be too much sleeping. That comes from that psychological effect that you just don't have the energy or the motivation to get out and do something. Fatigue, loss of appetite, overeating, unexplained aches and pains, loss of interest in things that formerly brought you pleasure, inability to make decisions, difficulty concentrating, feelings of worthlessness, hopelessness, constantly worrying, anxiety, thoughts of death, or even suicide, or even just harming yourself. All of these things are part of the major depressive disorder. Major depressive disorder. Now, one will need to seek out professional help when it comes to major depressive disorder. I got to get through here because my time is running out. I got a 10-minute time limit. Situational depression. Feeling is triggered by something that has happened, such as a breakup, death, family members, job loss, divorce, a myriad of things because it's situational. Your boss came down on you too hard at your job. Your professor, teacher didn't give you a good grade on your paper. Anything. And that leads to frequent crying spells, sadness, hopelessness, anxiety, appetite changing, difficulty sleeping, aches and pains, lack of energy, and then the inability to concentrate. That's a major part of situational depression, the inability to concentrate. And then another major factor of this certain is withdrawal, social withdrawal. Postpartum depression, experiencing a major depression and dissociation after giving birth, sadness, anxiety, rage, exhaustion, extreme worry about the baby's health, things of that nature, thoughts of harming yourself or even harming the baby. Please seek out professional help. Psychosis depression, suffering from symptoms of major depression, along with physical symptoms such as a delusion, paranoia, hallucinations, schizophrenia, all of these things. Hallucinations can include things that you see, hear, smell, taste, things that aren't really there. Things that aren't really there. Problems sitting still or slow physical movement. Atypical depression, experiencing periods of depression with moments of positivity and happiness, increased appetite, weight gain, things of this nature. Those are the things that you want to seek help for. It is my desire that you will seek me out to help you with those things, to help you overcome these seasonal and all of these depressive moods. Reach out to me, hit the like, subscribe button, like it on Instagram. Let's get together. Let's get you back into a happy state. All right? Thank you, folks. Have a good day.